Namaskar, my friends, and today I'm back here with another Transformers review. This time we'll be taking a look at the APC Toys Gale, the AIRFIGHTER. Now, if this guy looks familiar, that's because we have already reviewed his brother, the Gear Factory Gale, Bolt, the AIRFIGHTER on the channel. But before we get to the figure itself, let's quickly take a look at the packaging, and this is what the box looks like. We have Gale the AIRFIGHTER, better known to Transformers fans, or rather Transformers Prime fans, as Skyquake, posed with his Gatling gun or minigun, whichever you prefer to call it. It's actually a pretty nice looking box. Nothing overly flashy, just some clean artwork. You can also see Dreadwing in his aircraft mode in the background. On the side, we get another image of Gale the AIRFIGHTER, and around the back, there is a black and white render of Gale the AIRFIGHTER, aka Skyquake. Up top, we have Gale the AIRFIGHTER printed once again, along with another image of the figure. The bottom has the same branding, and on the opposite side, we get another shot of him in his aircraft mode. So overall, it's a pretty straightforward box with a simple design, but it gets the job done. And with that out of the way, let's get started. So, as tradition dictates, before we take a look at the figure itself, let's first have a look at his accessories. And yes, he does come with his, you guessed it, his Gatling gun or minigun, whichever you prefer to call it. And this thing is very, very nicely done. It looks absolutely fantastic, packed with detail and featuring some clean paintwork. The sculpting is excellent, the metallic paint applications look great, and overall it just has a lot of presence. One very cool little touch is that the barrel actually rotates. APC Toys really didn't have to do that, but they went ahead and did it anyway. And I always appreciate the little details like that. So yeah, a very impressive weapon and definitely one of the highlights of the accessory lineup. He also comes with his blade. Yes, Skyquake gets his sword just like his brother. After all, both of them are elite warriors and are quite handy with a blade. It's a nice looking sword with clean sculpt and a shiny finish. It's the same sword we have seen with Dreadwing, but it still looks good here as well. In addition to that, he also comes with two alternate head sculpts, and once again we get a slightly different expressions, a more serious look and a subtle smirk. They do look nice, but unfortunately there's one thing I really don't like, and it was the same problem with Dreadwing as well. That's the transparent ball joint underneath their heads. It's quite visible, and personally I am not a fan of that design choice at all. But with that said, that's pretty much everything we get in terms of accessories. So now let's move on and take a look at the robot mode itself. And taking a look at the robot mode, as expected, this is the exact same mold used for his brother, Dreadwing. So in terms of sculpting, there's not really much new to talk about here because we've already covered that, in fact covered most of it in that review of Dreadwing. What really sets this figure apart is the paintwork. Skyquake is done up in this beautiful shade of green, complemented by those light red accents and highlights spread throughout the body. It's a color scheme that absolutely screams Skyquake and helps him stand out despite sharing the same mode. And honestly, it works really well. The colors look fantastic, the paint applications are clean, and overall the figure has a very commanding presence on the shelf. Of course, one of the biggest appeals of this release is displaying him alongside his brother. Put Dreadwing on one side, put Skyquake on the other, and Megatron standing proudly in the middle, and you've got yourself a display that looks absolutely spectacular. So yeah, I am very happy how this figure has turned out. No complaints here whatsoever. The twin brothers look fantastic together, and Skyquake is every bit as impressive as I was hoping he would be. And as far as the weapon storage is concerned, Skyquake handles everything quite nicely. The sword can be stored on his back, which is always appreciated because it gives you somewhere to put it when he's not wielding it. The Gatling gun meanwhile fits securely in his hands. As you can see, he looks absolutely fantastic holding it. Once again, the Gatling gun deserves a mention. The sculpting is excellent, the paintwork is clean, has a lot of presence, and Skyquake wields it like he means business. It just suits the character perfectly and makes him look even more imposing. Just like Dreadwing's cannon, the Gatling gun can also be stored on his back, which is a nice touch, and if you prefer displaying him in his alternate mode, both accessories can be stored there as well. So overall, APC Toys has done a great job when it comes to weapon storage and integration. Everything has its place, nothing feels like an afterthought, and it all works very nicely. So I'm really glad that I picked this guy up. He looks fantastic. And continuing on, one feature that I absolutely have to mention is the light piping. Once again, his eyes light up beautifully when the light hits them just right. The effect is fantastic and really brings the head sculpt to life. In fact, it makes Skyquake look downright intimidating. It adds a lot of character to the figure and honestly looks incredibly cool. You also have the option of swapping out the head sculpts. The head can be removed fairly easily, although I would still recommend being a little careful here while doing it. It pops off without too much effort, and once removed you can attach any of the alternate heads included with the figure. So whether you prefer the default head sculpt or the one with the alternate expressions, APC Toys has given you a few ways to customize the look of the figure, and that's something I always appreciate. Now, just like his brother, Skyquake is capable of pulling off some decent poses. The articulation is exactly the same as Dreadwing, so if you're familiar with that figure, you'll know exactly what to expect here. The biggest drawback is still the lack of waist articulation. A waist swivel would have gone a long way in improving the overall posing experience and would have made the dynamic poses look even better, but despite that limitation, there's still enough movement throughout the figure to get him into some really solid action poses, as you can see on the screen right now. Now, one thing I won't be showing you in this review is the transformation. Since this is the exact same mold as Dreadwing, the transformation process is completely identical, and I've already covered that in detail in my Dreadwing review. So, if you would like to watch the full transformation or hear me talk a bit more in depth about the mold itself, feel free to check out that review. But for the purposes of this review, we are going to skip straight ahead and move on to the alternate mode. So now taking a look at the jet mode, and I have to say I really like how this looks. There's just something about the green color scheme that really works for me. The green paint combined with the silver metallic finish and those red accents gives the jet a very striking appearance. And under proper lighting, this thing absolutely comes alive. The metallic paint catches the eye beautifully, and honestly it looks phenomenal. Now, as we've already established, this is the exact same mold as Dreadwing, so there isn't much new happening in terms of the sculpt or the transformation. However, I did notice that a couple of tabs on this copy don't lock together quite as securely as they do on Dreadwing. It's most likely a minor quality control issue and definitely not a deal breaker by any means, but it's something worth mentioning. That aside, the jet mode looks fantastic. One thing I particularly like is the separation between the colors. The metallic silver paint, the green bodywork and the red highlights are all clearly defined and work very well together. Nothing feels muddled, and the overall presentation is just incredibly clean. In fact, even though it's the same mold, I personally find myself liking this color scheme a little more than Dreadwing's, and that's purely a matter of preference, of course, but there's something about Skyquake's colors that really appeals to me. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't bring Dreadwing out for a full comparison because he's currently packed away in storage, but I did manage to get a shot of the two brothers together, and you can see they look absolutely fantastic side by side. So this brings us to the end of the review, and overall I think APC Toys, the Gale, AIRFIGHTER or Skyquake is a definite must-have for Transformers Prime fans, and honestly Transformers fans in general. Adding him to your shelf is only going to make that display look even better. So for me, Skyquake gets a definite thumbs up. And if you're interested in picking one up, you can check out Showz store. That's where I got my copy from. With that, we have reached the end of the review. If you enjoyed it, then please do give us a like, leave a comment, share it around, and of course subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot and reminds the algorithm that I still exist, which, to be fair, it has been forgetting quite often lately. Although, if I'm being honest, that's probably my fault more than anybody else's. But hey, remind the algorithm. But do all of those things and come back again, because we've got plenty of content on the way. There are more collectible reviews coming, more collectible card content coming, and a whole bunch of reels heading your way. So stay tuned for all of that. Until next time, take very good care of yourselves, and always remember, till all R1. Ciao.